Good evening, one and all. Happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all the viewers. Trust you all are doing good. So nice to connect with you today. And I'm sure you're excited and you're waiting for today's session because we're going to talk about the interesting topic that I had already mentioned during my last session. So, without wasting our time, may I request the production team to play the video?
Mental health is how you feel, how you think, how you behave. It's part of life and it's not a stigma anymore. Hello everyone, I am Rucha Mehta, founder of a beautiful initiative, Ear to Hear. We started 5 months back, which was on 1st of Jan, and we have representatives from lot of cities and states. I would like to request you to join us to make a difference in your city, in your state. We would like to welcome all the women to come forward and support us because together we can and we will make a difference.
Thank you, team. May I request the team to play the slides? While the slides are coming up, let's talk about Year to Hear. Year to Hear is this beautiful initiative which was started this year on 1st of Jan by Ms. Richa Mehta. It's an amazing initiative. Our vision is to create awareness about mental wellness in women, especially because we women go through so much and it burns us out. It literally takes our life out. And we are here to create that awareness that it's no more a taboo and we need to go about caring for ourselves, just not physically, even mentally too. And we are here to hear you. You have any issue, anything that has been impending for ages, anything that has been hurting you for ages, anything that has been bothering you for ages, we are here to help you. We are here. We are all ears for you. Our main motive is to see that we hear you and we help you. So, this is what we are here at Year to Hear. Our mission is to be present in every state, every union territory, every big city, small city, every part of India. Just not to just be present, but to help all the women who need us to help you. We are here to help you. We are here to hear. We are all ears for you. So, this is the beautiful initiative. You have something that you want to go about contributing. You feel you have this experience. You feel you can go about being a part of the team. Just reach out to the email address that's mentioned below. Moving on. I hope I'm audible. Great. So today's topic, very interesting. We are talking about benefits of pandemic. Now you will be asking, what is she talking? All these days she was talking about this issue, that issue because of pandemic, this relationship problem, that relationship problem. And today suddenly why is she talking about benefits? Yes, we did have benefits. Every time when something happens in the world, not only bad, there is good that comes along with it. And this pandemic also has gotten a lot of great things for each and every one of us, which we are tending to overlook. And we are going ahead and magnifying the problem. We are not looking at the solution, we are looking at the problem. So, I am here to discuss about what exactly is the good things that has happened stage wise and how we have all been benefited too because of this pandemic. So moving on, production team, the presentation is not visible. I hope it is. So let's go about discussing how the life was before pandemic. just move on with it. So, how was the life before pandemic? We were very busy. We were all running around, and we had our life where we had our training sessions, we had our board meetings, we had work, we had office, we had parties, we had functions to attend, we had a lot of things that we had to take care of. Moving on, we were all running in this rat race. What was this race all about? We were running and running, and we weren't sure where we were running, where we were leading to, what was happening with us, what was going on. But this pandemic literally came up as a speed breaker. It came as a speed breaker and said, hey, stop. You don't have to be running. You don't have to be in this world called as speed. We can take a break. We can stop. Do you think so? I mean, I think so that way. I mean, I feel that way. We were all going in a very, very, very fast pace. And when we were going in the very fast pace, suddenly this pandemic came and we had to break our speed. World became literally like a standstill. People who were traveling, they stopped traveling. People who were very busy with their life, they had to transit from that so-called busy life where they were moving around to be at confined to home and move around within the home space around the world. Am I making sense? So a lot of things changed suddenly, or I can say even overnight for certain people. And this acted as a speed breaker. So moving on. And not only that, it did not act as a speed breaker, it made us change our lifestyle completely. It made us relook at our life in a different perspective. For me, I started feeling I went back to my old days during the school days or college days where life wasn't this very fast as it is now. I felt that. I felt that because getting up in the morning, finish your daily chores, and then go to work, finish your work, come back, then finish all the other pending activities, and then go to bed at the end of the day. And no time to meet with friends, relatives, unless there is an occasion or unless we plan for something or unless we do something. But suddenly all that changed because traveling stopped. We were confined to home, so a lot of things changed for I felt that a lot of things changed, and so I became a home person, very very home person, started spending more time with my family, started reorganizing myself, and a lot of things happened. So these are some of the benefits that I'm going to talk about that happened to self. I'm sure most of us will relate to it. One is our mentality towards the speed life changed. Suddenly we came to a standstill, so we had to organize or reorganize ourselves. We had become more disciplined now. So there is no travel involved, so we would get up late or we would make that quality sleep, and we would wake up in this particular time, then log into work. If they are not, there is no log into work. If somebody else is logging into her work, we are supporting those people. We are taking care of kids, parents, in-laws, whoever are at home. Lot of things we started reorganizing ourselves. We became more oriented towards being disciplined because suddenly lockdown was announced and we had to go about planning what vegetables we need to buy, what food products we need to look into. Suddenly, logistics also got affected worldwide. So we had to plan and make do with what was there. As I had mentioned, initial first month was hunky dory for everyone. But eventually, it started changing. We became more diet conscious, we became more food conscious, we became more what do you say, conscious about what we eat, hygiene conscious, because pandemic is already prevailing outside. So all these are some good habits that we adopted without our knowledge. Do you agree with me? We became more organized, saying, okay, this Monday I'm going to cook this, Tuesday I'm going to cook this, Wednesday we're going to have this. Because there's no outside food, we started eating healthy, home cooked food. We started planning, okay, morning I'm cooking this, afternoon we'll cook this, evening we'll cook this, we'll go about preparing it like this. We are not going to waste food. We became sustainable with our food habits. To an extent, I'm not saying no. Most of us became sustainable, and because we are confined to home, and with the stories that were spreading in the initial days, a lot of meat eaters gave up meat eating meat, which is again a sustainable habit, and lot of things changed. We started eating healthy. We started looking out for healthy stuff. A lot of people, we started going for that herbal teas that made at home that is called as kada. We started having milk with haldi. Why? Because we had to boost our immunity, because we weren't sure what was the virus all about, why things were going. And this prolonged for a long time. And today it's become an intrinsic habit for many of us. We drink kada every day. We eat healthy food. We eat in time. So, all these are very good habits that we developed during this pandemic. And not only that, many of us, because of our daily routine, because of our busy schedule, we stopped cooking at home. We had domestic help, no doubt they would cook for us and go. But there are times where we used to eat, where there are times where we used to carry the dabba and give it to somebody, and we used to eat something else at the office. But now, invariably, there is no option. We had to start cooking. We had to start doing. Many of us who didn't know cooking, we started learning. We started trying out new dishes. For me, yes, I did, because by then I had already moved out of rice. So I had to try out all new dishes with all the other stuff that I was eating. Many of them who worked with me, they can always say my habits, eating habits, have always been healthy, because I was a very poor rice eater from the beginning. I used to either go with dalia or millets or something else. But being during this pandemic, I tried experimenting various stuff with millets, and that was a real learning for me. And cooking, which was once upon a time stress buster habit, became a daily habit for me. And everybody at home, we used to look forward for what I am doing, what new I'm trying with the same ingredients. So that became very interesting. Do you agree with me? You all tried all this? If you haven't, I think you must try all this. Come on, family people are there for what? They are there to appreciate us, encourage us. And one secret, shall I say? We can experiment on our family people, because something goes wrong, also, they will not blame us. Nobody will sue us. Do you agree with me? Well, that's on a lighter note. I hope my family is not watching me now. Okay. Then one more thing that we adopted very well was, earlier we used to hit gym. I used to go regularly to gym, but there were days where I had prolonged meetings where I couldn't go to gym. That day I would say, okay, Chalta, today I had a lot of work, so it's okay. I'll just go about doing some shortcut stuff and sleep that day. But that didn't happen during the pandemic. When the pandemic began, I became more conscious. No, my breathing should improve. I should go about doing more cardios. I should go about working out better. I made a working schedule for my fitness. I went ahead and this Monday I'll do this, Tuesday I'll do this, Wednesday I'll do this. Of course, it's all like kitchadi right now, because I'm into too many other activities, but it did start off well. And it if I go about putting that efforts, it will come back to me. Same way, many of us adopted healthy, regular exercise, and we started doing things to take care of our fitness. Because we are only amongst the four walls, we are seeing the same faces, stress levels are increasing, they are going haywire, things are beyond our control. Obviously, there is no option, but we had to go back to our meditation. Many of us who never knew meditation, we learned it during this time and adopted. Many of us who knew meditation and we weren't having time, now we started making time for meditation, because our health we have to take care. Looking at us, kids adopted those habits. Do you agree with me? I mean, feel free to differ from what I'm saying. Just go about saying, no, I don't agree, Kalyani. And not only that, as stress busters, many of us long lost talents, we got them back. We got them back. Pencil sketching, drawing, painting, artwork, cooking. Many of them had this culinary art, but they haven't tried because of their busy life, because of their schedule. Now that came back. Many of them learned cooking because it's survival of the fittest. Gardening, with the little bit whatever space many had, they went ahead gardening. Do you agree with me? We all went back and started looking at so many of our talents that were just hidden in the attic somewhere. We brought them out and we relooked at it. There were people who went ahead and ordered new stuff and adopted new habits. So, this was one of the major best things I can say that happened to all of us. And we started sleeping well. Many of us, we used to sleep only for 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 5 hours. Even if we had the blessing of sleeping to 8 hours, count me out for it. I'm not there. So many of us started sleeping well because there's no hurry. Morning, you don't have to get up and you don't have to travel for 2 hours or 1 hour. So that 1 hour got it back to your sleep. So you started making quality sleep. You agree with me or not? At least weekly 3 days. 3 days you used to struggle, or 4 days you used to struggle. At least weekly 3 days you used to make that quality sleep. Do you agree with me or not? And most important thing that we adopted during this time was cleanliness and hygiene. I still remember we used to get all the vegetables from the vendor. We used to wash them at least 4 to 5 times in water, and not inside the kitchen, in the garden. In our garden, we used to use all that water for the plants. And what we have washed, we used to dry it, put them on the mat, dry it on the mat over there in the sun. And this is something that I have seen my grandmom doing it when I was small. During my school days, I've seen my grandmom doing this in the village. And here, my grandmom used to get it done with all the support we had. Why? She would say sun is the best way to kill all the bacteria outside. All the pesticides that enhance this, the bacteria will go. And that turned out to be true. In fact, we used to clean all the vegetables with salt water. That came back. That came back. So all the fruits and vegetables were cleaned, and that became a very integral part of our life. It is still there even to this day in our house. We kept washing our hands every 1 hour. Sanitizers we started using at home, wet wipes. So cleanliness became a part, integral part. And I think most of us started using masks as soon as we step out of our house, even if we are going in the balcony. For us, even in the compound, though ours is a dead end road, even in our street, wherever we went, we used to use masks. And as soon as we come back, throw that mask for cleaning, or if it is one time use, just shred it and then go about washing hands, washing yourself, being clean. That was very, very, very integral thing, which we were brought right from our childhood. We were brought up with this kind of hygiene. Do you agree with me? If we go out and come back, our grandparents used to say, go wash your feet first, wash your hands, wash your face, and then enter the house. At least I used to follow all that when we were small. Even now, we go out and come back, we wash our face, wash our hands and feet, and then enter into the kitchen or other parts of the house. That's because of hygiene. All those people who wear footwear at home, they used to use the same footwear outside and bring in the same footwear inside. But that was a time where a lot of messages and information was conveyed that we should leave the footwear what we use for outside itself, and wear the better ones or clean ones for home, and not use it for outside. I think that was a healthy habit that came into picture. So this is something that I found for as a benefit for self. Do you agree with me? And not only that, many of us, because we had time, we started registering ourselves for courses related to work, courses related to management of life, courses related to our talents. For me, photography has been my childhood habit, and I was taught photography by my uncles. How to focus, how do you go about capturing a person, capturing a subject on the other side, how do you go about clicking the picture, all that my uncles taught me. But I went ahead and fine tuned it during this pandemic. I really feel so good about it. There are many other talents that I had in the past. I fine tuned it now, especially sketching. Sketching used to be my really favorite subject, and I used to do great drawings during my college days. But after college, I stopped because there was no necessity. But now I got back to it. I retrieved my photographic memory. These are some of the things that came in integrally with me. And I felt when I spoke to all my friends or when I did the surveys, many of the women said this. Yes, I had this habit earlier. Adopted it again. Many started saying that we weren't conscious about our house. We've cleaned our house at least 2 to 3 times, which is actually a great thing. Out of the fear of pandemic, they've cleaned the house. And many came back and said we found a lot of things that we felt we lost. We kept it very safely and we found that safe place. So these are some of the benefits that we found in self. Do you agree with me? And through it all, mentally, though we were going through churn, though we were going through all the ups and downs, we kept ourselves occupied. That's the best thing I can say. Many of us went through depression, many of us went through a lot of emotional trauma things, but there are many of us who were benefited with it also. Though we were going through the trend, we went ahead and learned how to come out by ourselves, how to overcome the fear, how to go about handling a situation. Some of our family members got affected. The first target that we would get when that is fear. How did we handle ourselves at that time? How did we go about supporting one another? How did we handle ourselves as individuals? These are some of the things I felt it was really a beneficial thing that happened to us during the pandemic. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Though there are many negative things which we have actually magnified, we have overlooked all these positive things. Moving on, another best thing that happened during this pandemic is family. Many of us never had time for our family. We would just make a phone call on our way to work or while we are returning from work or in between calls or something like that. Call our parents, call our in laws. Now, many of the families they brought either their parents or in laws with them because they couldn't handle them being elsewhere. So that increased the bonding. Those people who couldn't afford bringing their family members from whichever city or whichever place, they at least were connected to them day and night over the phone, over the video calls, thanks to technology. Thanks to technology. Like those people who weren't able to connect as in bring in their family members, they used to connect with their neighbors to check if the neighbors could help their parents if something is needed, connected with their friends. I mean, do you see what I'm seeing? This is something really amazing. We were so busy and engrossed in our life that we forgot that all this was needed. They were living their life, we were living our lives. But suddenly, now the urgency or the urge to take care of them, to be there for them, and for them also, we should be there for our kids. Even if we are far away, let's morally support them. I mean, that's nothing but love. And that gave so much of mental strength for many of them. That gives so much strength to many of them. I know so many people who used to speak to their parents only weekly once because they had no time on the other days. But now they talk every day, morning and evening. If not an internet call, at least a phone call they make to check their loved ones are safe, to understand their parents or their siblings are doing well. That's a real great thing that's happened. And being afar too, distance makes a person fonder. That fondness came into picture. People started liking one another. That was a great thing according to me. This increased love in siblings, this increased love between parents and kids, this increased love between in-laws and kids. Yes, there is misunderstanding too. I don't deny it. There has been a lot of confusions. There are some of us who went ahead and made peace with our loved ones because this is a difficult time and we need to be there for each other. Do you agree with me? Do you think this happened with you? Write quickly in the comments whether I'm relating to you, whether you did something very different, because I'm sure all of us went through this. And not only that, this became a reason why we got, as I mentioned, we got connected to our neighbors, we got connected to our old friends who are nearby our parents' house or in law's house, we got connected to our relatives. I mean, I always, I come from a huge family and huge amount of relatives. I used to always like say no to relatives because I don't like confusions. I know I don't like this gossip and other stuff. But during this time, as I started hearing this person is going through this person is going through this, I changed my mindset and said, we are relatives not by accident. It's God ordained. Even if we are able to say even a one word of encouragement during this phase, I think we're doing a great thing for our relatives. And what that's the point of being there as a relative. Otherwise, it's just a waste. I just felt that and I started reconnecting with relatives. Not that I share a great bonding as I shared with my loved ones, but yes, when they come back and ask for an advice, at least I'm able to give them what they need. This was my experience. I'm sure you will have your experience too. And not only that, this encouraged us to have meals with our family members. We used to have our breakfast at our own pace, each one on our own rat race. We used to run lunch in the office or kids at school, parents in their own place. And not only that, dinner we used to come, it used to be a hosh posh. Each one had their own timings. Somehow we used to finish the day. But now we started having breakfast together, lunch together, dinner together. If not all three meals, at least two meals are together. Do you agree with me? And not only that, because we had nothing else to do, no other social activity during the festivals, during the events that were common for us, we all started becoming traditional. I mean, I saw the traditional angle. I don't know about others, but I did see the traditional angle in many of us. We started spending more time with our family members. Like I said, I started spending more time with my parents. I've driven them bonkers. I've driven them crazy. I've driven them nuts. The same thing has happened with me. They have driven me nuts too. But at the end of the day, we are family. Do you agree with me or not? And the major thing that I found throughout, it's not just with me. Many of my friends, many of my contacts, and during the survey when I was talking to all the women, this is something that I learned: the bonding increased. There are women who said, my sister in law and I, we never had that bonding, but during this particular pandemic, we were there for each other and we've literally become sisters. My mother in law and I, we never had that relationship, but during this pandemic, even if we have pulled each other's hair, literally, but still we are there for each other. That bonding has come into picture. These are all some healthy things that's happened. At least she cares for me. When I'm on call, she'll come and give me food. When I'm really stressed out, she'll make something so to de-stress me. We used to just go about sitting and chatting for hours together. She was there for me. Many women said this. Many women said this. There are cases where I came across where they had left their parents in old age homes because they had a busy life. These people went and got their parents back here. Kids enjoy the period with their grandparents. Today they've made decision to keep the parents with them. That's an amazing thing. See, I'm not blaming anybody for any decisions what they made in the past. I'm not commenting, I'm not judging. I'm saying beautiful things turned out of this pandemic in family. Trust me, many of us waited for the Diwali or for that New Year or for that Holi, as we haven't waited for ages. During our childhood days, we used to wait for Diwali only to wear the new clothes, to enjoy all the delicacies, to burst crackers, to do what not. But now that became the trend. We were waiting for that festival only to gather with people, even if they were handful. Do you agree with me or not? Do you agree with me or not? So, moving on. This was with respect to family. Now, what happens to friends? We have a whole lot of friends that we've carried right from our school days, college days, then first job, second job, current job, whatever jobs we've done. We've met friends because of our school, I mean, our kids' school, their our kids' friends' parents became our friends, close associates. So that bonding increased, that friendship increased. For me, I got connected to my entire batch in engineering. That is like a wow feeling. Not only that, I got connected with my entire high school friends, a whole gang of us. That's like a dream come true for me. I mean, almost 20 plus years we haven't interacted with each other, but suddenly we are getting interacted. It's like for a kid who's craved for something for ages, the kid gets how the joy will be. I felt that joy. I experienced this. Many of us got reconnected to our friends. There are so many people who said I started looking up for my school friends, college friends on in social media, and I got connected to them. Through connections, I got connected to my school friends. We started sharing, we started understanding. A lot of us brought in healthy competition because of it. For me, one of the healthy things that I did was during this entire phase is I connected with the friends. I learned that life is just not limited over there and there is much more I could do. And I started chasing my dreams. And not only that, during this particular phase, one of the things that I used to do when I was working in corporates, I retrieved that and I got reconnected to so many friends. I had this concept called as coffee with Kalyani at work, because I used to take my colleagues or friends, we used to go for a coffee. 1 hour we used to spend together, we used to talk. If there are issues, resolve. This was my own way of handling employee relations at work. That one we did it virtually. At least I could get in touch with 40 people and help them out. So this was something really amazing thing. And looking at me, quite a bit of my other friends got reconnected to their friends. This became a contagious habit. Do you know how it just spreads? And we used to have that checker. Okay, on WhatsApp, we used to write in our group, Kalyani, today we finished 22. Today we finished this. My friend, I finished 10. I finished 15. Each one we used to give our count. And that way we got connected to our friends, reconnected to our friends. We started interacting with them. Many of them who quit their jobs because of whatever reason, because of these connections, today they are becoming entrepreneurs. They have already become entrepreneurs. A budding entrepreneur is saying this. And not only that, once we get back to our old friends, old classmates, old associates, there's something that changes within us. There's a churn that happens. Many of us experience that. Do you agree with me or not? That was a beautiful thing that all of us experienced. And in fact, I still experience. It's a beautiful, amazing thing I get every time I meet my school friends or college friends. Just 2 days ago, I was chatting with one of my college mates. I used to be a disastrous dancer during the college days. She taught me and she was saying something about herself. I said, no, don't you ever say about yourself because you taught me dance. And we went back to the old days. And it's like an amazing feeling to relive the moments. Do you agree with me when you reconnect with your friends? You think about the stuff that you have done, you relive the moments. And many of us adopted healthy, long last habits. Like some habits that we used to have during the school was we used to go about gauging how much your friend has studied, how much you're going to study, how much your friend has done, how much you're going to do. But if that same friends happen to be with you in the same industry of work, same sphere of work, same level, it becomes really amazing blessing. Huh? I'm saying this. I'm saying this. I've completed a humongous amount of courses. Not only that, because of my friends, I've attended so many webinars by force. And today, that knowledge that I have accumulated, it's tremendously helping me. It's I just cannot express how it's helping me. Many of us are going through this. Do you agree with me or not? It's just not about me. I can only give my example, but there are many women who have said this. There are women who used to do gardening as a part of their activity during the school or college days, but today they gave up because they have moved to some other place or they don't have that. They started it at home. They are teaching kids. Healthy habits we've adopted. Many who never wasn't fitness conscious, they became fitness conscious. And as a part of all this, we started focusing on self improvement as friends. Do you agree with me? At least my friend circle, 200 of us across from school till my latest work, 200 friends at least, we have done something or the other to improve one another, nudge one another to improve, push one another to improve. This is an amazing thing that we have done to each other as friends. Do you agree with me? If you haven't, I think you should develop this habit. I think you should get in touch with your friends and you should nudge your friends and your friends should nudge you to do something. So this is an amazing phase in everyone's life according to me. We did go through all the bad things, but there are a lot of good things also that came into picture, and these are some of the good things. Do you agree with me? I would say these are great things. Moving on, last but not the least, neighborhood. We forget about our neighborhood. We did have friends in our neighborhood who would have moved, or we've moved to a new neighborhood. We don't have friends, but we made friends during this phase. We started realizing who our neighbors are. Some of our neighbors have been so kind and helping that when we were going through some real churn, burning phase at home, they came and stood by us as real family. Interdependency increased. Especially, I remember the first 3 months when we were really finding it difficult because grocery shops are open, but there are certain things that's not available. So neighbors came forward and helped us with tiny mini things that were needed to fill in that gap till the grocery shop person could get us. Do you remember those first few months, at least the first 6 months of the lockdown that we had? First 3 months though was very difficult. You agree with me or not? We had this interdependency which increased. We started understanding our neighbors better. Neighbors started understanding us better. They filled in, many of us who are away from family, they filled in the gap of the family. For me, the entire relative circle is here, but none of us could move from one area to another because of the restrictions. So neighbors came handy at that time. And they became real good stress busters. Like age old people, they need somebody to talk. They need somebody to interact. If you're in a closed colony, there were no restriction. They could go to their houses, spend time, or at least they would meet up on the colony somewhere and discuss. That was really a blessing for them. Relatives never used to come home. Neighbors at least used to come home. That was really like a blessing. So, net net, what I can say is during this pandemic, we started re-looking at our life in a different angle. Like I said in the beginning, we went back to our old days where we weren't running after things, but we had time to pause and give importance for tiny mini stuffs in our life, and that came into picture. To conclude, I just want to say even if there is anything bad that's happening in our life, God definitely brings something good out of it. And that good is, first thing, He brought a speed breaker in our life. Second thing, He made us know the value of humanity. He made us know the importance of people in our life, be it friends, be it family, be it relatives, be it neighbors. God made us realize that I, me, my is not just sufficient. We have to evolve from I, me, my and become we. Only then we can tackle our problems. Do you agree with me? And not only that, during this particular phase of pandemic, for now it is almost 20 months. During this 20 months of period, we've done so many things which we didn't do for the last 20 years. This is an amazing phase according to me. I'm not going to go about debate and say we went through a lot of bad things, we lost our loved ones, lot of things has happened. But even the bad and the worst situation can bring the good or great. And many of us have sensed that great. Right now, the reason why I went ahead and brought this topic so passionately and I'm talking out of passion is because we don't know how long this pandemic is there. We are getting back to our old normal, but with masks, with all the safety. But we shouldn't forget the lessons we learned in this phase. We shouldn't forget how we evolved during this phase. We shouldn't forget that we have been fighters. Each and every one of us have been fighters here. Hey, come on. Together we fought this out, yeah? Together we've come out of it. It was a roller coaster ride, but together we are out of it. To an extent. Things are not as bad it used to be before, but at least today we are in a phase where we can go about meeting our relatives with, of course, all the safety and precautions. We realize so many things. Continue with that. Let's not go back to the old phase where we had actually forgotten all the stuff, forgotten our values, forgotten our culture, our tradition, forgotten so many things. We were reminded of it, we adopted it. Let's continue with it. And one more thing, life, basically, this pandemic life taught us is you don't have to always have a speed life to live. You can have a normal life. Speed is needed only in certain cases. Every other case, you can lead a normal life. To conclude, one of the most beautiful things that happened during this pandemic is year to year. It's because so many things were going upside down, so many things were going hither, thither. I'm sure Richa got the thought that we have to do something and we should be years for women. And how many women are blessed because of that? How many women have come forward and shared their problems and definitely have gone back with a smile on their face? So, if you are one among those women who is trying to smile, who needs that smile, reach out to us. I'm concluding the session, so I'm saying that we are here, we are all ears for you. You have any issue, you have any concern, you have something bothering you for ages, reach out to us. So, you have any questions, come back to me. We're all ears for you. And whatever we have learned during this phase, let's not forget. Let's continue taking it with us. I know we have beautiful and great days ahead of us. So, lessons learned, let's carry forward. Let us cascade it too. Let's not get back to the phase where we have to unlearn and relearn things. We've learned something really beautiful, let's retain it. So, you have any questions? You have anything that you want to share? Anything that you want to say? Please feel free. Thank you, Anya Rao. Thank you, Ritika. Yes, I'm sure many of you will not have points right now, but do comment later on. What were the great things? At least like three great things. Thank you, Anita. Three great things that happened to you during this pandemic. Come on, it's just not bad. I don't want to agree. Three good things would have happened. You might come back and say, what do you know? I had a relationship break. Why do you want to look at a bad thing about it? Maybe that was not meant to be. Maybe that is not the will of God. God has a better thing for you. Life doesn't end over there. Somebody might say, I lost my loved one because of the pandemic. This happened, that happened. I'm really sorry if you have lost your loved one. But at the same time, look at the positive aspect. You survived. You fought that. And you're together fighting this as a family. You got so many memories with your loved one. Cherish them. Don't look only on the negative side. Look at the positive side of life. Thank you, Richa. And just go about practicing whatever you got, healthy habits, exercising habits. Thank you, Kyra. Go about practicing all these things. It's going to lead you to greater levels. Continue with this and cascade it to the kids. And definitely, we have made a history which we are going to share it with our future generations, saying between this particular period, especially 20 and 21, we went through this, we did that, we did this. Yes or no? Because I've heard the stories of World War from my grandparents, how they have gone ahead and survived that war. I've heard them talk about the other wars that happened after that, how they survived, how they were cautious, how they were under threat areas, how they were taken care of, all those stuff. So today we have this story to cascade it to future generation where we have faced this bio war, especially with this COVID-19. So let's go about journaling this beautiful phase, creating some beautiful stories out of it, and sharing our beautiful thoughts. Positive. I'm sure there's negative. Let's stamp the negative, overlook the negative, and look at the positive. We will continue with the same thing with respect to our colleagues, with respect to our workplace, with respect to what happened in the world in the forthcoming sessions. And we definitely do have some surprising speakers coming and giving us some, or rather, sharing their thoughts about what are the positive things that's happened during this pandemic. Thank you, one and all, for being there. And may I request the production team to play the video?
प्रॉब्लम मुझे भी है, लेकिन कोई शेयर करने वाला नहीं है।
You can talk to me. I'm there for you. Come and join us on the below number. We will keep it a secret. The promise that you will have a smile before